Hello y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel, Journeying with JJ. My name is Jocelyn Jan. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell, notification bell next to the subscribe button so you know whenever I upload a new video. This week we will be talking about vulnerability. And if you look up dictionary definitions of vulnerability, a lot of them are negative. But the one positive one that I'm talking about today when I talk of vulnerability, if you look at synonymous words, is unguarded. Like living your life without constantly having a wall up. That's the vulnerability I'm going to be talking about. And so when I think of vulnerability, like when we talk about vulnerability in the world, people think of it as weakness. I had a conversation with someone not long ago. I just said, I'm going to talk about vulnerability. And she was like, people think about that as being weak. And I was like, yes, girl. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. But I don't think of vulnerability as being weak. On the contrary, I think about it as a strength, right? I think of vulnerability like as the ability to show up and be present in a place or a situation or whatever thing, in spite of not knowing what the outcome will be or not being able to control that outcome. That's the vulnerability that I'm speaking of, right? When we let ourselves be vulnerable, we become the person we are meant to be. Why? Because we begin to play big, y'all. We begin to play big, to show up and to do the things that move us forward. To be vulnerable, right? Like, I think you have to embrace the idea that you will be criticized, you will face rejection, you will be shamed, you will make mistakes, and you will fail in the eyes of the world. But here's the thing. You will also get credit for doing that thing. Like, I think that credit goes to you for doing that thing over the person who's sitting in the corner criticizing you for doing that thing and not doing it well, right? Like, you get credit for showing up and doing something, whether you do it well or you don't do it well. You showed up. And that's the vulnerability that I'm talking about, that ability to get out there and do it in spite of the chances that you're not gonna do it well, the chances that you're gonna be criticized. That's what I'm talking about. And like, I believe that mistakes propel you forward. Like, you may get your heart broken, you may get rejected, you may cry and curl up in the corner in a ball and just weep. And that's okay, y'all. That's okay. Because personally, I believe that regret is harder to get over than letting yourself be vulnerable. Regret is harder to get over than being ashamed, than shame, than rejection, than failing. I put that in air quotes because I really don't believe in failure. Like, I believe in like making mistakes that propel you forward, that make you learn something else. You don't fail. You just don't get it exactly right the first time or the second time or the third time. Like, I believe that to wake up every day and wish you had auditioned for that role, you had written that book, you had published that book, you had apologized to that one friend, you had called that one friend last time, you had bought that dress, you had started that YouTube channel, you had talked to that person, you had shown up and be seen. Y'all, I believe that's like much harder than going out and doing those things and suffering some sort of shame or rejection or criticism because you did it. Like, I can get over shame anytime, but not regrets. Y'all, so we want to live with no regrets. Now, so I want to ask you here, what is that thing that you've always wanted to do and have never done it? Think about it. What is that one thing you regret not having done? You can put it down in the comments below, and maybe you'll find someone else who's wanted to try that thing, and then you have someone to try it with. Or you could just put it down in your journal if you have one and say, this is that thing I've always wanted to try, and commit, to doing it. because you never know what's going to happen when you do it. Awareness, right? Like awareness is the start of healing. Now, I'm not going to say that being vulnerable is easy. It is not. It is hard work, y'all. Like it could take you anywhere from days to months to years to decades to become comfortable with being vulnerable, to become comfortable with putting yourself out there. But you cannot let that stop you. You cannot let that stop you. Like, I want to make it clear here again that the vulnerability I'm speaking about, right? It's not like how many of your secrets you can tell everybody else. No, I'm talking about showing up and letting yourself be seen. Even when you do not know what the outcome will be, even when you cannot control the outcome. That's the vulnerability that I'm talking about. Like when we let ourselves be vulnerable, y'all, we become magic. Magic. Like we create, we live, we do, we cry, we love, we hope, we progress, and we succeed. Whatever definition you may be giving to success, right? Like for me, starting this YouTube channel is a success. Just starting it, right? Thinking of the idea was a success because this is me being vulnerable. When I started this channel, I had no clue where it was going to go, what it was going to look like, what people were going to think. I worried about being criticized for years. Like I wanted to start a channel for years, but I worried about it. I worried about being criticized. I worried what people were going to think of me. And for me, starting this channel is being vulnerable. And every week, y'all, I second guess myself, like, oh my freaking potatoes, like, what are you doing? Who gave you authority to speak? Like, I second guess myself every week, but every dang week I say, you know what? I'm doing it and I'm gonna keep doing it. And someone's gonna hate it, and that's okay. But there are also people who are gonna love it. Like vulnerability is stepping out of your comfort zone. So y'all, let's commit to stepping out of our comfort zone for fun, for progress, for success. Like letting go of one's inhibitions is a wonderful thing. Like when I think about, like, usually like people do drugs, right? Or they drink alcohol because they want to let go of their inhibitions. They want to become braver, more courageous. They want to be able to do that thing they've always wanted to do. They want to be able to confess to their lover or someone they have had a crush on. They want to be able to go out and crush that presentation that they're giving, because we're afraid of being vulnerable while we're sober. But imagine being vulnerable while all of your senses work exactly well. Like when you're not under the influence of anything. Imagine being sober and doing something, whatever that thing is. Imagine it. Like you're thinking, you're there, you're brilliant, you're present. Wow, man. Like the person you will be, like the places you will go. But like most importantly though, like I think about vulnerability, like when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? To acknowledge that you can be hurt, you can be in pain, you can fail, you can be rejected, you can let it go. Because if you don't acknowledge it, you don't think there's anything to let go. But when you can acknowledge it, you can let it go and move on. Most importantly, when you access that pain, right? Like you interact with others better, and you do not deliberately hurt them. Like you become more mindful of the way you interact with others, and you do not deliberately inflict pain on them, because you have access to your vulnerability, right? You've accessed that source of empathy that's in you, because you know what it feels like to be vulnerable. Y'all, imagine if we all let each other be vulnerable. What a world we would live in. Like, you know, you wouldn't be ashamed of crying, you wouldn't be ashamed of going out to do something. I mean, or you would be, or you could be shamed, or you could face rejection, but you would go out and do it anyway. But it's hard because in our world, we're constantly judging each other, right? And sometimes we can say, I don't care, bro. I don't care what anybody else is saying. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. And that's not necessarily always true. Sometimes we can pretend not to care. But it's hard not to care at all, right? So here's like the thing I think about, like, my decision is I will choose whose opinion I will care about. Like, you choose whose opinion you will let color the way you live your life. Like, I would choose the people who love me, the people who are on my side, the people who support me, the people who tell you red's red and black's black, the people who say, hey girl, that right there, that's a little iffy. But they will still support me and they will try to push me in the positive direction. Those are the people whose opinions I will let color my world. And I advise you to do the same. Now here's my second question for you. You know, we probably all have those people. Who are those people? Who are your tribe? Who are the members of your tribe? Who are the people whose opinions you let color the way you live? And then when you find out those people, you can decide to choose the certain people whose opinions you will let control the way you live your life. Because we're always watching for people watching us. And people are always watching us. So what are you going to do? Not live? No, you're going to have to live. And so for me, it's like my family and a handful of friends. When I say a handful of friends, I mean a handful like this. Those are the people whose opinions I want to let matter. And of course, I'm not there yet. But I know that I will be there because it is a conscious decision that I have made, and it will be hard, but I will work at it until I will see these other comments and I'll say, okay, that was hurtful, but we'll push it to the side and we'll move along. Because they don't know me. They don't love me. They don't care for me the way the people who are important, the people who know me, do. And I would wish that you do the same for yourself. So you can comment down in the comments below who the members of your tribe are. Or you can write it in your journal. Who knows? Maybe down there in the comments you could meet a new member of your D tribe. So, for me, bottom line is, you have to let yourself be vulnerable. Step out of your comfort zone. Right? Embrace rejection, embrace shame, embrace fear, embrace progress, embrace your body, embrace your power, and be big or small if that's what you're comfortable being. But you shouldn't be small because you're hiding. You should be small because you're comfortable being, because being small is where you thrive best. Not comfortable, where you thrive best. Yeah? So, recap. Let yourself be vulnerable. Let yourself be vulnerable and live. Just live as best as you possibly can. And let anyone say what they have to say, because people will always have something to say. Just live. And so y'all, this is where I sign off for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you can, let me know why you did not like the video, what it is you didn't like about the video. If it was the content, it was me, it was my face, or whatever. Let me know. And most importantly, please share with your friends and family and anyone you think would benefit from watching this video. And y'all, just disclaimer here, I am not trained in anything. This is just me talking about what I think as I go through my daily life, as I'm journeying through my life. These are the thoughts that go through my head, and the decisions that I make. So, yay! Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'd like to know what you think. Please, please, please comment down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the little bell, the notification bell right next to the subscription button, so you know when I send when next I upload my video. See you next Wednesday, and love, y'all, love, sarang. Hey.